So it is taking some time. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. So I'm going to read from Canto 6, Chapter 18, verses from 61 onwards. So far we have seen the chapter name is Diti vows to kill King Indra. And then so far we have seen that Kashyap Rishi, he suggests some vows to Mother Diti, with the condition that only if she fulfill the vows for at least a year, then yes, she will get the son who can kill Indra. But otherwise, the son will become the friend of Indra. And then Indra, when he gets to know this condition, then he comes in disguise and serves Mother Diti, and always constantly looking for a fault. Because as soon as she makes a fault, then in that case, Indra need not to be worried for his death. So there are many life lessons we are going to learn today. The one important one is like when Indra attacks Mother Diti, I mean her embryo, then those kids, right, the newborns, so they are asking for help, and then Indra's self-interest is so high that he does not look at the cry of those children, and then he continues killing them. And then finally, the section of the verses 65 verse that we are going to discuss is explaining how great our supreme personality of God, Sri Krishna, is, because he himself did not enter the womb of his own mother, but to safeguard his devotees, like Parikshit Maharaj's example also will come. To safeguard his devotees, he enters in the womb and remains there for months. So the verses that we are going to discuss is certainly going to increase our conviction that it is not very risky to depend on the Lord, which we often doubt. Okay, and then yesterday evening only, ISKCON Mira Road in Mumbai temple president, His Grace Kamal Lochan Das Prabhuji, he was mentioning that in our life, if we want to do spiritual progress, we do not need to set a very high, big goal for us. He said, you set up a very small goal, and then you work your best on that, and then look how successfully you are able to do that, and where are the challenges, and then move a step further. So why we are discussing this thing here in this context is because if we find it too risky to surrender to the Lord, let us start surrendering to a reasonable limit where we feel I am okay if I fail to fulfill it completely, but yeah, to the extent that we feel okay, we can afford the risk. At least to that extent, we should surrender ourselves. So without taking more time, we'll start with the verses. We have only, I think, 5 verses today, so we have time to discuss them in more detail. So I'm starting with 61. Labdva tadantaram shakro nidrapaharta chetasaha dite paravista udaram yogesho yogamayaya. Anyone wants to read the translation and the purport? Please feel free.
Shall I, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Finding this fault, Indra, who has all the mystic powers, the yoga such as Anima, Diti's womb while she was unconscious, being fast asleep. Shall I read the purport, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Purport?
Yes.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A perfectly successful yogi is expert in 8 kinds of perfections. By one of them, called Anima Siddhi, he can become smaller than an atom, and in that state he can enter anywhere. With this yogic power, Indra entered the womb of Diti while she was pregnant. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Excellent, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we see Indra had all the mystic powers, and one of the one which is mentioned here is Anima, because with the help of this Anima Siddhi, one can reduce the size of the body to smaller than atom. Okay, so if any one of us have any desire for any of these siddhis, okay, then the best example of this, which we all have heard many times, is Hanumanji, right? In the Hanuman Chalisa, Ashta Siddhi Navnidhi Ke Data, right? Asvardin Janaki Mata. So, Ashta Siddhi, there are 8 kinds of siddhis. Anima means we reduce the size. Then, like Lagima, I think in Lagima we increase the size, I guess. I cannot recall all. One is Prapti. In Prapti, we can get the things sitting here remotely. There is one which increases the weight. There is one which reduces the weight. Like that, there are total 8. So the point here is, Hanumanji had these siddhis and he used them for the service of the Lord. Now, we, whatever little bit knowledge, whatever little bit skills that we have, idea is to use them in the service of the Lord. If we think, oh, let me also get these siddhis, and then I will also serve the Lord, then indirectly we are trying to do our sense gratification under the cover of Krishna consciousness. Because if Krishna thinks we need those siddhis to cover the services assigned to us, Krishna is capable enough to make that happen. He would have placed us in a planet where all those siddhis are natural. Okay, so there is no point in doubting or unnecessarily endeavoring for those extra things which we do not need. Okay, it is a very fine line in our life. Okay, where to draw the line. I need something to survive. Yes, true. But on the other side, how much do we need? Where do we draw the line? Okay. So yesterday morning, there was a Vyas Puja of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj here in Bangalore. So there Maharaj was telling in his recorded lecture that was played during that session, and it mentions that we are always required to do the service. A devotee must never be lazy. So yes, we can eat. Yes, we can sleep. Yes, we can take rest. but so much so that which is sufficient to keep our body and soul together. Okay, and the moment we go outside that, it is unnecessary burden on ourselves. So yes, I agree. We will have lots of questions, lots of doubts on this. But fine, as I said in the beginning, let us not risk ourselves 100%. We are the IT people, or I should say people of this 21st century. Let us not surrender 100%. But then at least ask us a question. Are we at least thinking in the direction of surrendering at least 5%? Do we have any inclination of surrender before that? So that is the question we should ask. And as far as the question of having these siddhis is concerned, see, a mosquito can pass from a small hole, right? If there is a door lock and a small hole is there, a mosquito can pass from there. So to get these special qualities, this human form of life is not there. Becoming a mosquito, we don't need to do any extra endeavor. And human life is at least more important than a mosquito. So there is no point in necessarily desiring to have these siddhis, which in one form or another, right, are naturally given to us. Hiranyakashipu did so much of tapasya that Brahmaji said, there will never ever be a time when anyone can perform the amount of austerity so much so that you have performed. So, and then the boon that Hiranyakashipu was asking was to become immortal so that he can never be killed. If a person joins in our movement on day one, okay, if nothing else we understand, at least he will come outside with a statement that we are not a body, we are a soul. So fine, we do not realize that, but at least this English statement we hear on our day one of our Krishna consciousness, we are not the body, we are the soul. So if this statement would have been made very clear to Hiranyakashipu, that the soul is anyway eternal and body anyway has to go, there's no point in doing so much of austerity to ask for something which we already have. So coming back to the verse, we don't need to unnecessarily endeavor for those. Siddhis is an example, but there is one siddhi or another, each one of us, we have in our list, in our life, which we want. It may not be called anima, it may called something else, but the message should be clear. Okay, we are not the body, we are the soul. And whatever siddhis I get, it will end up with this life. But if I do 0.001% of bhakti, it will never perish. Let us just remember this single line. Whatever little bit extra progress I make in my Krishna bhakti, it will never be finished. It will always be there. Right? Bhagavad Gita 2.40, right? So going to the next verse now. And I mean, till this sloka, because Diti made a mistake of not washing her mouth after eating. And then this is one of the mistakes that she did. And then Indra found it as an opportunity. And then he took the anima, using this anima siddhi, he entered in the womb of Diti. And now, because she was pregnant, so next we read the next verse. Chakarta saptada garbham vajrena kanak parabham rudantam saptadhaikekam marodir iti tan punaha. Let me request.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes. So, Krishnamurti Babuji, can we give this chance to Sudha Mataji for now?
Please, by all means.
Okay.
Hare
Sure.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thanks.
Hare Krishna. Pranams. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After entering Diti's womb, Indra, with the help of his thunderbolt, cut into 7 pieces her embryo, which appeared like glowing gold. In 7 places, 7 different living beings began crying. Indra told them, "Do not cry," and then he cut each of them into 7 pieces again. Purport also I should read, Prabhuji?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, purport. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura remarks that Indra, by his yogic path, first expanded the body of the one Marut into 7, and then when he cut each of the 7 parts of the original body into pieces, there were 49. When each body was cut into 7, other living entities entered the new bodies, and thus they were like plants which become separate entities when cut into various parts and planted on a hill. The first body was one, and when it was cut into many pieces, many other living entities entered the new bodies. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mansi. So we hear 2 things here. Like, one is the cruelty example from Indra. Yes, he was doing it in his own self-protection. But then we have seen in the example of Dadichi Rishi, right? He asked for to kill Vritasura, he asked for the bones of Dadichi Rishi, and so that he could kill Vritasura. So to safeguard himself, he had to take the life of another sage. And now once again, he cut the embryo into 7 parts, and then those 7 parts, each of them got a new soul into them, and then those 7 children are requesting to save them, not to be killed. And then Indra says that do not cry, okay, as if giving them assurance. And then he cut them again into 7 pieces. So now each 7 cut into 7 becomes 49. So see, using the thunderbolt to cut the embryo is not a very good idea, because we need to be sensitive as a devotee. Indra is the king of the heaven and is head of all the demigods. Okay, so we need to ask a question to ourselves: Indra is also a great devotee of the Lord. There are so many times when he makes mistake and Lord always saves him. That means there is something great in him. Okay, so with all due respect, there is some lesson for us here, that where are we using our thunderbolt? Thunderbolt means, what is in thunderbolt indicating? Indra's power. He is using it to do something which he should not do. Okay, our thunderbolt, our power is our tongue, and using this tongue, we have a choice. We can go back to Godhead. But are we using this tongue for the same purpose, or we are just using it for something like Indra, something which will increase his sins, that he can use in the service of the Lord, but is now increasing his sins? So something which is our power, which is supposed to help us to elevate and progress, we are using the very same thing, very same resources to bring us down. So this is one lesson that we should learn from here. We need to be sensitive. On one side, there is Vasudev Datta in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He praised Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, "Oh my Lord, you give me the sins of all the souls in this world, and let them go back to your abode and let me face their all the sins." So we have Vasudev Datta's example on one side and the incident of Indra here. So we need to be very, very sensitive for others as we do it for ourselves. And now the second lesson that we get from here: how come cutting one embryo into 7 parts, getting 7 souls? Then again cutting each one into 7, again it becomes 49. So there are 49 independent living beings in each of those embryos. Now the question is, how is it happening, right? So an example is given here, like plant. So there are many plants. If we just take a part of that, then again it will develop into an independent plant. There is a very nice verse in this regard from Sri Ishopanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Right? He is complete. Everything that comes from him is complete. Even if all these things takes birth from him, he still remains complete. And each of those parts is also complete. So if we can see those things into the plants, or we would have heard this story of a Brahmana and tailor, right? That person who stitches the cloth. So I guess I remember it correctly. So the Brahmana was asked, Narada Muni goes to both of them, and then Narada, they both say, "Okay, you are going to the Lord, just ask, when will we go back to you?" And then Lord says, "Brahmana will need many births, but the other guy stitching the cloth," I guess I remember it correctly, maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me. So he can come very early in the next life only. And then when Narada says the same thing to Brahmana, then Brahmana is laughing. Okay, why he laughs? Because he was told, as per the instruction of the Lord, that when you go to each of them, just inform, "I was passing an elephant from the hole of a needle." So when Narada tells this thing to the Brahmana says, "No, why are you joking? I doubt if you really went to the Lord or not." So he did not believe. But the other guy, who is not as scholar as the Brahmana, he believes immediately, and then he appreciates, "Oh, my Lord can do, yes." And then Narada re-questions him, "Do you think it is possible?" And then the answer that he gives is like, "If from a small seed, this big banyan tree under which we are sitting, that can come, then an elephant is much smaller than the big banyan tree. So if that can happen, then why not? The Lord can pass an elephant from the hole of the needle." So the point is, I heard it recently, our progress in Krishna consciousness depends on how much faith we have on the words of Srila Prabhupada. I'm just repeating exactly the same lines which I read. And the lines were, yes, we do kirtan. Yes, we do chanting. Yes, we do deity worship. Yes, we do preaching and helping others. But we do them because it is going to please Srila Prabhupada. If we have, we don't have to change our activities. But now our center is, it will please our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. So with that conviction, if we do those things, then the realization that we get, okay, the progress in our Krishna consciousness will be many times much quicker than just doing it out of our own like desire. Whenever we want, we do. Whenever we don't want, we don't do. And again, as we repeated twice earlier, fine, if we cannot do each and everything, let us start again. Yesterday in the lecture of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj, he was mentioning, if you want to feel, come closer to Srila Prabhupada, read his books. He has written it for us. So fine, we cannot give our 24 hours. Let us start by giving an hour, because Maharaj said hour every day, and then see how it is helping. Because Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, Prayana Alpa Yusha Sabya Kalavashmi Yugejana. Our memory is very, very dull. Our age is very short. We are always disturbed. In this state, if somebody tells us so important thing, then we have to be very, very unfortunate that we don't use this opportunity. See, we have been told the problem. We have been told the solution, what should be done. And we accept that. We all agree to that. But look at the effect of this current time. The moment we go away from the association of the devotees, the very next moment, the very same knowledge starts getting faded. So it is such a lifetime changing instruction. It must be very, very close to our heart. But even then, because the question is, when we hear these things, we challenge it to ourselves. And then we forget what we challenged also. That is the unfortunate part. So, no, my memory is not short. I can remember the things. Yes, you can remember the things. But ask yourself the same question tomorrow. Let us do one thing. Set the alarm clock. Okay? Set a notification in your mobile to remind yourself and see if you are able to remember it or not. Every single day when that alarm will ring with the message, I have to read Srila Prabhupada's 1 hour books. We will see how short our memory is, how much less conviction we have. Let us water the thought and then we see the result. So go to the next verse. Tam uchuhu pati manaste sarve pranjalayo nirpa kim na indra chigyamsasi brataro marut tatstava. Marutastava, yes. Let me request Karunamurti Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Please.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. O king, being very much aggrieved, they pleaded to Indra with folded hands, saying, Dear Indra, we are the Maruts, your brothers. Why are you trying to kill us? Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. So now those Maruts are again requesting that we are your own brothers. Please don't kill us. And then in continuation, okay, because we will explain this and next verse together. Ma pasito bharataro mahyam yoyam iti aha kaushikaha ananya bhavan prasadan atmano marutam ganan. Atmano marutam ganan. Yes. Let me request any other Prabhuji or Mataji want to take translation?
I'll read Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Indra saw that actually they were his devoted followers, he said to them, if you are all my brothers, you have nothing more to fear from me. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So I want to tell that instance of Haridas Thakur. Sorry if it is repeat for some or all of you. Haridas Thakura was asked to leave his religion and then stop the chanting of the Hare Krishna. Basically, I mean, and then he was explained very nicely, and then he was given this warning: if you don't do so, you will be beaten up in 21 marketplaces, and beating with the, what is that called? Chabuk, right? So those persons who were appointed to punish Haridas Thakura, they tried their level best. They were tired beating Haridas Thakura, and even when all those places 21 were over, they told there has never been any time when anybody could survive more than 2 or 3 or 4 marketplaces. Maximum till 4th, everybody used to leave his body. No, you are the only one who is still alive. We are fully tired, don't have any energy. You are still alive. If we cannot kill you, we will be killed and our family will be killed. Looking at this request of, those punishers requested Haridas Thakura, please die. And then looking at their condition, Haridas Thakura chose to be died, and he left his body. Okay, this is an example on one side, and on the other side we have this example where all the Maruts, they are requesting to Indra, and then now Indra, knowing that they are his brothers, he's saying, now you don't need to worry from me because you are now my brothers, so I will not kill you. So that the difference is, for a devotee, the whole world is his. Okay, there is no one who is an enemy of a devotee. The problem comes when we feel my position can be compromised, my powers may go away, so to safeguard them I have to protect, and I can go to any extent. And then we will get so many references, so many excuses, basically, even from the Shastras. Shastras are like the oceans. They will give you anything what we want to justify our point. We have to apply our intelligence and follow the footsteps of our acharyas, of some great devotees who has gone through that condition. Srimad Bhagavatam is a infinite collection of all such pastimes, their relationship with the Lord, and how they faced those conditions, and how they came out of that successfully. Whether it is Prahlad Maharaj, whether it is Ambarisha Maharaj, Kunti Maharani, so many. Okay, so Gajendra, Dhruva, all these are like huge cases, different problems, different contexts, and they all came out of the problems, teaching us a lesson how we should live our life. So for a devotee, the whole world is his. Okay, no one is enemy to him. And even if, see, it is said, people, if they make mistakes, okay, we either forgive them, or if we cannot forgive, let us at least forget them. Best is to forgive, so that we don't have to, we can see each other again. But if we cannot do, just forget. So, and when we are in Krishna consciousness, all these principles, life principles, they become the byproduct of the bhakti. We get those things automatically when we are following our acharyas and their footsteps. So the last verse of today, I see a hand raised by Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, you want to ask a question or you want to read the verse?
No, Prabhuji, I want to recite and read the purport and translation.
Yeah, okay. Please go ahead, Mataji. Yes.
Thank you,
Safety.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please, no.
Nama Maraditer Garbha Srinivasanukampaya Bahuta Kulisa Sunnu Drauni Astrena Yata Bhavan. Translation. Prabhuji, can you please scroll? Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sukadev Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, you were burned by the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama. But when Lord Krishna entered the womb of your mother, you were saved. Similarly, although the one embryo was cut into 49 pieces by the thunderbolt of Indra, they were all saved by the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead." Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot, Mataji. Thank you so much for very, very nice recitation. Thank you for that. Yes. So there is no purport, okay, but the translation is very, very important. One takeaway we want to take from today's entire session is this: how merciful the Lord is on us. So there Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj that for your time also, right, when he was in the womb of Mother Uttara, that the Lord entered in her womb and he saved Parikshita. And not only, it's not like the Brahmastra came, Lord entered, and then Brahmastra went, and then situation finished. No. Lord was there in the womb of Mother Uttara for months. Okay, and only when Parikshit took birth, then only Lord also came out. So the very same Lord who did not enter in the womb of his own mother is now there in the womb of Mother Uttara to safeguard his devotee. Similarly, because Mother Kunti did not have her husband, it comes in first canto, 8th chapter, I guess. Because Mother Kunti did not have her husband Pandu Maharaj alive, so he helped Mother Kunti. But because Mother Devaki had Vasudevji next to her, he did not save his own brothers, right? Because at least her husband was there. But now to save the sons of Kunti, because Pandu is not there and she is a great devotee, he saved Pandus all the times. Pandavas, right? During the battlefield of the Kurukshetra, we know. So, and then again here, similarly, although the one embryo was cut into 49 pieces, as we saw till now, right? 7 by 7. By the thunderbolt of Indra, they were all saved by the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And why do we have to go to other examples? Even for us, each one of us, I guess Saras Mataji knows it best and she can explain it more. But the womb of a mother is not a very comfortable situation to be in for so many months. So we don't have to go to a different example. We can see our own. Okay. So we were also survived all the arrangements for everything. What we don't need in those 9 months. We need to have some energy, so we get the food supplies. We need to pass our wastes, right? And then all the arrangements are there in that very small place. And the Lord is doing all the arrangements. So the message that we should get here is, it is not because Arjuna was the cousin of Krishna and Parikshit Maharaj was the son of Arjuna, or these 49 maruts. Marut means actually Vayu, right? So there are 49 types of airs. And they are the brothers of Indra, right? So, so not because they were demigods, so that's why they were saved, or they were the sons of Diti, who had done so much of austerity in last 1 year, following the instructions of her husband. No, even each one of us have a direct relation with the Lord. So he is our seed-giving Father, Parampita Parmeshwar, right? 14.4. Aham Bija Pradapita. He is a seed-giving Father. So we also have direct relation with the Lord. And it is all we need is to realize this fact, how close we are to the Supreme Lord. How do we get these realizations? By speculating? No. By imitating others? No. By following our acharyas? Yes. Because when we hear from a pure devotee, it means we are associating with them. If we go to a dham to just roam around, take the bath in the water, yes, it is purifying. But when we go to a dham, the most important thing in our entire itinerary should be how much time we are going to spend there, hearing the pure souls residing there. If we are in a dham and if we are keeping hearing on a lower priority, then other things, it is not a very good idea. Srila Prabhupada says, my Krishna Balram temple has all the tirthas inside this. If we do the parikrama of Krishna Balram temple, why? Because Srila Prabhupada is saying, Diti became so, she wanted to kill Indra, right? But now, when she followed the instructions of her husband, a pure devotee of the Lord, Kashyapa Muni, because she is following his instruction, yes, she is getting her heart transformed. She is now no more an enemy to Indra. The later verses which are going to come forward, they both will tell everything very transparently. I came for this, I thought this, I wanted this. If we are inimical, we cannot speak truth. Okay, so our strength is only in the fact with what conviction we are following the words of Srila Prabhupada. We can do the same thing for 100 and 1,000 different reasons. But when we are convinced in our mind, I'm doing this because Srila Prabhupada had said so. We are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam now because Prabhupada has recommended we should read it every day. Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. Oh yes, because it was suggested by our acharyas. Now we are doing. And now the magic begins. So all these instructions are there for us to learn something. So we have 10 minutes left. We are done with our assigned verses for the day. If you have any comments, suggestions, or questions, we can happily discuss it. We'll try.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have so many
Yes.
doubts, Prabhu, from
Yes,
this
Master, please.
section. How can Indra, such a great devotee, be so cruel, Prabhu? When we, common fallen people, we just feel bad to kill even a mosquito. Indra is killing people left and right like that for self-preservation. So what is Bhagavatam trying to tell us by these incidents, Prabhu? What we have to learn?
Okay. Thank you, Marji. Very nice question. Once Srila Prabhupada was praying in front of the Lord very deeply. And then the devotees asked Prabhupada, maybe request you to reveal what were you praying so deeply. And then Prabhupada said, I was praying to the Lord that I should be always careful against the Maya. I should not fall victim in her hand. And everyone was surprised. Prabhupada is such an elevated soul. He is helping the world to become Krishna conscious. And he is praying the Lord to be safeguarded against Maya. So, okay, how it is related to your question? Because the effect of the Maya will give us 1,000 different reasons. Self-protection is our first right. Yes, it is mentioned. Our law also approves that. A second example, Krishna telling to Arjuna, you can kill Ashwatthama because he is one of the 6 aggressors. Aggressors are those like who attacks, right? Who burn the house with fire, or who steals their wealth, or who takes the wife, right, with bad eye. So those are the 6 aggressors, and there is no harm in killing the aggressor. So Krishna on one side telling Arjuna, you can kill Ashwatthama. But now is the time when Mother Draupadi said, no, he is the son of a Brahmana and our teacher. She also has, Ashwatthama also has a mother. And then Krishna appreciates that even more. So again, why are we discussing this thing? Because we will get the reasons why I want to do certain things and why I should not do certain things. We will get all these answers. But Maya is very strong. And until we are Krishna conscious, anyone can do anything. When we are not in the right direction, okay, very small example, I'm going from Delhi to Vrindavana. Okay, so we know our starting point and we know our end point. We know the route. That is one right direction. But any other direction is wrong direction. So if you are not Krishna consciousness, there is no depth, there is no limit to what extent a person can go. So when we ourselves do not take care of our soul, we are called Atmaha. Atmaha means killer of the soul. We have heard and seen this example. A cage is there, one bird is there, and we are taking care of the cage, not taking care of the bird. But are we not doing it every single day with us, with ourselves? Don't we find that person who is taking care of the cage and not the soul, not the bird? Don't we find that person either cruel or maybe muda, right? But are we ourselves not doing it? Because there is no other third state. One is either we are Krishna conscious or we are Maya consciousness. In the Maya consciousness state, we are wrong, and it can be as much wrong as we allow Maya to be. Yeah. Does that answer the question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. But even before, even the non-devotees are so humanly kind, Prabhu. But Indra is the greatest devotee, not the greatest, but he's a king of the demigods who are great devotees of the Lord. And if he can go to such an extent for his self-preservation, I don't know what to think.
Only solution of the problem is becoming Krishna conscious. If we compare Indra and Durvasa Muni is even higher, right? He was not a demigod, he was a sage. He had much more control on his senses, right? And there was somebody, we know the example of Ambarish Maharaj,
Yes.
because he drank water, not drank, just broke the fast, which is mentioned in the scripture, right? Water does not break the fast and breaks the fast. And then he got so angry. So we need to be careful each and every moment. Otherwise, at the sadhaka stage, this is the beauty, right? We don't have to see. For us, it is very simple. If we are truly advanced, whatever action we do, it is bhakti. Okay, like it is mentioned in Vrindavana, if you are sleeping, it is like doing the yajna. If you are just walking, it is like doing the parikrama. If you are just speaking anything, it is like glorifying the Lord. This is the Mathura Mahatmya, it is mentioned. So when we are advanced devotee, anything we do, it is bhakti. But when we are in the sadhaka stage, in that stage, we don't have to leave ourselves uncontrolled. There are 4 regulative principles, 16 rounds of chanting. Just stick to that. Today morning only, it is something interesting, not very directly related to this. Grah Medhi, this word was explained in one morning class that we attended. Medhi means when a bull is there, okay, he is tied on a center some point, and then he is circling that center point all the times to get out that cold pressed oil, right? Early times. So that bull is always circling around that. So our center should be no more graha. Graha means our home, but should be Krishna. Anything that we do should be keeping Krishna in the center. And in the initial stage, 4 regulative principles. No more experiments. We'll come to that stage with the mercy of the Lord, where the things become natural. But until then, we need to be careful, very much watchful where we are going.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I got 2 realizations, Prabhu. I'll just tell
Kindly share,
them.
Mataji. Yes.
One is Indra is not a pure devotee like Ambarish Maharaj. So when you are a pure devotee, you will be like, you will not do such things like what Indra did. And second is this incident shows that even if you become a great devotee, it's very difficult to escape from Maya. So we have to be on our guards like that, Prabhu. Like that I'm
Yes.
thinking.
True. Very good, Mataji. Very good. Yesterday, again, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj in his lecture mentioned, Srila Prabhupada says, purity is the force. And how much pure we are, yes, it is important. But the more important is how much efforts we are putting to become pure. That is more important. We may be fully impure today. Are we taking our first step to become pure? Are we having desire? Are we doing something? That is even more important. So yes, I heard it from our mentor and temple in charge here, His Grace Harishatra Prabhu in Bangalore. He says, that we may not be getting. I'm unable to recall fully. It was recently during the Janmashtami time. We may not be able to serve all the times, depending on our situation, physical health. But this service mode, nobody can take away from us. So we need to be constantly in the service mode, even if we are not serving, because of reasons which are not in our head. So yes, you are right, Maharaji. Need to be very careful, watchful.
Thank you, Prabhu, for making me realize that. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Thanks to you, Maharaji. Hare Krishna. Yes, Ambika Maharaji, you want to say something?
No, thank you, Prabhu. It's all clear.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments, questions, suggestions? I mean, if you have some suggestion, I can improve something. Please feel free. I'm just trying to learn in your association. All right. Thank you so much. Prabhuji and Mataji's. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Pancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If I go to Manande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji, once again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Hare